As tonight they're ready to watch their star, USC-bound O.J. Mayo and the Huntington Highlanders meet Villanova's next weapon, Corey Fisher and St. Patrick's of Elizabeth. Fans were lined up outside the Henderson Center here at Marshall 4 hours ago to watch tonight's Old Spice High School Showcase matchup. The top-ranked high school team in the nation, St. Patrick's of Elizabeth, meeting the 6th-ranked team in the country, these Huntington Highlanders. And here is the top 10 in the country, according to ESPN and USA Today, in the Super 25. St. Patrick with 1 loss, Huntington with 1 loss, and these two teams with many players heading to Division I basketball next season. Hi again, everyone. Bob Wischusen and Tim McCormick. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. There's over 9,000 people packing this arena tonight. They sold it out days ago. This is an atmosphere that you are very rarely going to get, even in college basketball. This might be the biggest sporting event of the year in this area of the country.
Bob, there's a reason all these people are here. We have an absolutely incredible display of talent. 11 players in this game will play major college basketball. And when you look at their skill set, the athleticism, the size, and the speed, this really has more of a feel of a mid-major game with a sellout crowd than it does high school.
Well, when we look at our star watch, it's easy to see where the star power in tonight's game comes from. O.J. Mayo going to USC. Corey Fisher's heading to Villanova. Obviously, Tim Floyd and Jay Wright are pretty happy about this star watch.
Well, without question, the marquee matchup to enjoy. 2 tremendous guards. Corey Fisher off to Villanova, really knows how to run a team, and his buddy is O.J. Mayo, electrifying in transition.
Let's check the rest of the progressive starting lineups. It's 5 seniors, basically the Fab 6 they call them here at Huntington, along with Chris Early, 6 players that in Huntington grew up together and have a chance to win a 3rd straight Class AAA state championship. Jeff Robinson, certainly the other name to pay attention to in the St. Pat's lineup, as that senior power forward will be playing next season at Memphis for John Calipari. And Dexter Strickland, only a sophomore. We might end up tonight's game, Tim, talking about him more than any of the seniors. He is a spectacular player, already thinking about, and this is really going to make you happy, Michigan State. He might be a Spartan at some point.
Well, Al Harrington is the best player that's ever played at St. Patrick's, and they're saying that Dexter Strickland already a better athlete at that stage of his career.
Both of these teams have green as their primary color, and it's tonight in the road green, St. Pat's, the home white to the Huntington Highlanders. Huntington 20-1 on the season. O.J. Mayo not a part of either of their last 2 Class AAA state championships, and no team in West Virginia history has ever won 3 consecutive AAA state titles. They're trying to do that this season. The first turnover of the game, though, Corey Fisher goes the other way for St. Pat's. Hangs, hits, plus the foul off your Jay Wright. That has to make you very happy. He's going to be imagining exactly that taking place next season over and over again in the pavilion.
Oh, absolutely, Bob. And these are 2 high-octane, love the speed game type of teams. And Jay Wright will be able to insert Corey Fisher immediately. You know, Mike Nardi is going to be leaving, and he's a former St. Patrick's player, but he loves those 3 guards. I wouldn't be surprised to see Fisher next year.
Mayo right to the goal, and he scores his first 2. And that's the type of move that had folks wondering whether O.J. Mayo would be thinking about the NBA a lot earlier than even thinking about USC.
His body was NBA ready as a sophomore. He developed very early, and actually it was kind of interesting. Did you know he's played 6 years of high school basketball? He was at a small Christian school in 7th and 8th grade in Kentucky, so he's very experienced.
Robinson rims one out from the baseline. This was Michael Taylor, also a senior, 5'11", only 165 pounds, off to Mayo for 3. Offensive rebound and a putback attempt by Patrick Patterson, knocked out of bounds. And Patrick Patterson, number 54 in white, you can see him at the foul line. He might be one of the players tonight that most of the coaches that are watching around the country are salivating over, in that he has yet to actually decide where he wants to go. Mayo's going to USC, and there are other players in the game that have decided what they're going to do. Corey Fisher, as we mentioned, going to Villanova, and Chris Early, who's the 6th man for this Huntington team, is going to be playing for Jeff Capel at Oklahoma as Fisher knocks down a triple to give St. Pat's the early lead. But Patrick Patterson, he's taken all of his official visits and hasn't decided where he's going to go yet.
And Patrick told me he will wait to after the state championship to cut it down to 3, but he is the premier player in all of America that has yet to commit to a college. And I am a huge fan of Patrick Patterson. Here's the defensive dilemma when you play against Huntington. If you spend too much time dealing with O.J. Mayo, then Patrick Patterson will kill you inside. And this says a lot. Who's their best player? You can flip a coin because both Patterson and Mayo are ranked top 10 this year.
Mayo slips one to Patterson. And a foul called. Patterson will go to the line as Jeff Robinson is called for the foul. The head coach for St. Pat's in his 19th season. He has won over 475 games. We're going to get to Kevin Boyle in just a moment, but Lloyd McGuffin in his 5th year at Huntington. And what a turnaround he has engineered with this group of talented players. His first season was coming off of a 3-win year for Huntington. He had them 12-11 in his first year, and they have been a 22-win or more team every year since, including winning back-to-back state championships.
You think having Patrick Patterson on your team helps? What a perfect storm it has been here in Huntington, though, that you have these 6 players that have grown up together. O.J. was telling me that when he was 8 years old, the 6 of them played at the YMCA and dreamed about nights like tonight.
Strickland, the sophomore, with a long 2. He got Patterson caught in a mismatch. And those are the first points scored by St. Pat's that don't go to Corey Fisher. And it's an 8-4 Celtics lead.
Lloyd McGuffin was telling me that St. Patrick's is maybe the best shooting team from the perimeter in the entire nation. Uh-oh, here it comes. Oh.
A lead pass from Fisher. Hard to handle for Paris Bennett. And again, Kevin Boyle graduated Clark High School in New Jersey in 1981. In 1986, went to St. Peter's College, played basketball for both, but he has made his bones as a coach at St. Pat's. This is a team that has won the New Jersey Tournament of Champions 3 times since 1998. And the Tournament of Champions in New Jersey is actually the overall state championship team as Mayo misses inside. Patterson's follow won't go, and Robinson has the rebound. But in New Jersey, there are 6 divisions. There is Parochial A and Parochial B, and then 4 groups of public schools. Those 6 state champions meet in the Tournament of Champions, and the winner of that tournament is declared the overall state basketball champion in New Jersey. Now, oddly enough, St. Pat's and St. Anthony's play in Parochial B. So even though one of them is #1 in the country, the other is #3 in the country in terms of the top 25 for USA Today, only one of those 2 schools actually going to win any kind of a state championship since they have to play against each other in Parochial B. Robinson swoops in and scores.
Oh, going to Memphis. He is a John Calipari type athlete, loves the open court. Plays 2 and 3 in college. He'll have a chance to step right in and contribute for the Tigers next year. And back to what you were saying when you laid out the state playoffs. Indiana gets a lot of credit, but I think New Jersey has the best high school basketball of anywhere in the nation.
Mayo fades away and hits the backboard first. Another rebound to Jeff Robinson, who as a senior this year is averaging a double-double, over 20 points and 10 rebounds per game. And he rises and throws up a brick of his own. The other way comes Mayo. Jamal Williams along the baseline. Nice ball movement as Bruce Sr. will go to the line. A pretty interior pass from Patrick Patterson.
A tough game in their last outing on Monday night. You're going to see in transition, sharing the ball, extra passes. 4 of their 5 players touched it in transition, but in their championship game Monday, Bruce Sr. had a concussion. Michael Taylor, their point guard, broke his nose, so let's keep an eye on those players.
Foul was called on Jamel Jenkins, a senior, a 66% free throw shooter, misses at the line. And according to Lloyd McGuffin, Bruce Sr. is our garbage man. He's the player that normally benefits from double teams that are fed from elsewhere. Obviously, with Patterson and Mayo on the floor, there will be double teams. Senior oftentimes is left open, and according to McGuffin, will make you pay, although he misses a pair at the line.
Offensively, St. Patrick's is very disciplined. They run a nice combination of sets, man-to-man, not afraid to share the ball.
Inside missing Quintrell Thomas. His second shot rejected. And Robinson has the offensive rebound. A pretty feed from Dexter Strickland, but Thomas couldn't convert. And now he gets another chance. Robinson finds himself loose for three. He's got it. Jeff Robinson from behind the arc. Oh, when you're 6'6" and a power forward and can hit the three. What a weapon.
His game is basically three-pointers and dunks. In their first 10 games, he had 50 dunks this year.
Mayo and Patterson, a two-man game, draws three defenders. And instead, rising, going off the window, Jamal Williams, no good. And the other way comes Fisher. Knocked away. It stays with St. Patrick's when we come back. So St. Pat's has silenced the 9,000. 13-4. They have the early lead. And Jeff Robinson, whose dad played football at UVA, knocking down a three.
If you have it, you don't need it. If you need it, you don't have it. If you have it, you need more of it. If you have more of it, you don't need less of it. You need it to get it. And you certainly need it to get more of it. But if you don't already have any of it to begin with, you can't get any of it to get started, which means you really have no idea how to get it in the first place, do you? You can share it, sure. You can even stockpile it if you'd like, but you can't fake it. Wanting it, needing it, wishing for it. The point is, if you've never had any of it, ever, people just seem to know.
So, 12 o'clock tea time, someone rear ends us. Day shot, right? Except I just switched to Progressive Direct Online. They gave me a couple of competitive prices. I picked Progressive and saved $400 a year. And I've been trying to tell these guys I also get their concierge service. So I drop off my car, pick up a rental, and we're gone. So I save $400 and our tea time. Fantastic.
Progressive Direct. It's about you. And it's about time. Sign up online and save $50.
ESPN's presentation of the Old Spice High School Showcase is presented by Old Spice. Smell great. Progressive. Visit Progressive.com or call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. And Nike Basketball and the Air Force 25.
St. Patrick of Elizabeth, New Jersey, the top-ranked high school team in the country, playing like it. A 7-1 run. They have opened up a 13-4 lead over the Huntington Highlanders, the number 6-ranked team in the country. And Tim McCormick, here is the look at St. Patrick of New Jersey. Only 220 boys go there.
Yeah, and when Corey Fisher and Jeff Robinson transferred there in 9th grade, they were both from tough neighborhoods, academic problems, discipline, and they really needed the guidance that was provided at that school by Kevin Boyle and his staff. It's really a unique and special environment.
The lob off the inbounds. What a play, and Robinson converts again. St. Pat's right now is 6 for 11 from the field. Huntington has missed 7 of their first 8, and O.J. Mayo's 1 for 5. From the corner, a 3, and that one was sorely needed. Knocking it down, Chris Early, who comes off the bench. How about when your 6th man on your high school team is already signed to go play for Jeff Capel at Oklahoma?
Big 12 recruit off the bench.
On the baseline, Robinson again, and the follow by Quintrell Thomas.
This St. Pat's team just comes at you in waves. They are all weapons offensively.
Off the glass, nothing doing for Patterson. And in the open floor, Dexter Strickland. Quintrell Thomas, number 13 down left of the lane, is a player that Kevin Boyle described as a Ben Wallace type. And trying one from way outside, missing everything, Corey Fisher. A steal at midcourt, though, by the sophomore Dexter Strickland. Sets up Jenkins for a wide open look. That may have been partially blocked on the way in, but there to clean things up, Jeff Robinson.
Jeff Robinson is the best player on the court right now. He's doing it all, and he was not highly recruited last year. John Calipari was one of the first big schools in on him.
Mayo might be forcing things a bit. Another miss. Strickland in transition, pulls up. A long rebound, and Mayo lost the loose ball but was fouled. And the foul actually will be called against Huntington, so it will stay with St. Pat's.
Today at practice, I was really impressed with the fundamentals that Kevin Boyle had his team working on. It's a set play out of a timeout. And Jeff Robinson told me that he wants to be like Kobe Bryant. And the old school approach that Kevin Boyle brings emphasizes so many fundamentals, the passing, the ball handling. He said, if I want to get to that level, this is the best place for me to learn about that. It's almost like an old school program where a lot of the top 25 schools are more of the AAU influence, more up and down in transition.
That foul was called on Strickland, his second, but missing inside was Jamal Williams. So it's back over to St. Patrick's with a 12-point lead. Thomas lost it. A steal, though, by Robinson. Wide open is Fisher. Along the baseline. Scores again. What a start for St. Pat's here in the final minute of the first quarter. Fisher has 8. Robinson has 9. And it's a 14-point lead for the Celtics.
Now, here's the story. Look at St. Patrick's defense. It is phenomenal. They contest shots so well.
Offensive rebound by Mayo, and almost a takeaway, but Fisher is called for the foul with 31 seconds to go here in the first quarter.
It's always good to have mentors, and on Sunday, O.J. Mayo called his good personal friend LeBron James, who was out in Vegas, and invited him to come to this game. LeBron said that he's kind of busy, but he may drive down.
Rimming one out was Mayo. Running down the loose ball is Williams. Early will try. He can't connect. A cold shooting first half for Huntington as they are 2 for 13 from the field, only 7 points. And you can catch a basketball doubleheader on ESPN Saturday afternoon. First at noon Eastern, Demetrius Nichols and the Syracuse Orange. They're on the bubble. They need a win against Providence. Then at 2 Eastern, Warren Carter and Illinois. The Illini taking on Penn State. What a run Penn State gave Ohio State for their money last night. Judgment Week presented by Cisco on ESPN Saturday.
1-4 set along the baseline. They like to run the high screen.
Chance to hold for one. Jenkins from the corner. Comes up short, and that will end a high-powered first quarter for St. Pat's. The top-ranked high school team in the country gets 17 combined first quarter points from their 2 stars. They have the lead over number 6 Huntington.
In all the world, there are a select few who at their very core are capable of incredible transformation. Under the most grueling conditions, they are shaped, hardened, sharpened, ready to stand among the most elite of all warriors. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The race is on to see who will become the official small business of NASCAR, courtesy of Office Depot. Log on to ESPN.com, search Office Depot, and get on the right track to getting your company's logo on my car. Watch NASCAR now to see who wins.
ESPNU is the home of men's college lacrosse.
What a goal! A thing of beauty!
The best in the game all season long. National powerhouse Duke returns to action against Dartmouth. Saturday at 2, only on ESPNU.
A short time ago, this woman was limited by her mobility. A month ago, this man wasn't even able to get around his house. These are people who chose mobility, and they chose the scooter store. If you're living with limited mobility, call the scooter store today. I guarantee no other company will work hard to make you mobile. If we pre-qualify you for a new scooter or power chair, and Medicare denies your claim, the scooter store allows you to keep your scooter or power chair at no cost. That's the scooter store guarantee.
I expected they'd help me file some paperwork with Medicare and my insurance. I never expected them to be so nice or to work so hard to get me a power chair at no cost to me.
You don't qualify for Medicare? No problem. We'll work with your insurance company, even help with financing. If there's a way, we'll find it.
Call the scooter store for free information today.
Call 800-250-3979 for free information. That number again is 800-250-3979.
Darinoco with a SportsCenter in-game. Memphis trying for its 16th consecutive win, taking on Rice. Morris Allman, 27 a game for Rice. Yeah, Rice is up 1 right now.
All right, Dari, thanks very much. Back here in Huntington, West Virginia, and the Huntington Highlanders, the 6th overall team in the country in high school basketball, trailing St. Pat's, the #1 team in the country out of Elizabeth, New Jersey. 21-7 as we start the second quarter. St. Pat's with a 2-touchdown lead in the Old Spice High School Showcase that pits some of the best teams in the country against one another, and some of the best players have a chance to show what they have. And Corey Fisher again goes to the basket, and it's knocked out of bounds by Patrick Patterson, so it stays with the Celtics.
I love the way Corey Fisher handles the ball. He's a power point guard, and I was watching Sharon Collins from Kansas the other night on ESPN, and very similar approaches. They get wherever they want to go.
Jenkins wide open off the skip pass from Fisher, and the rebound rolls out to Patrick Patterson. Oh, the shooting percentages tonight improve a bit as O.J. Mayo makes Huntington 3 for 16 now, and they are now 2 for 8 from behind the arc. Rebounding, though, strongly in favor of St. Pat's, and they have an 11-point lead. Brad Holgebrook in the game, another senior for St. Pat's with the ball. This 3-guard weave, tough to guard for oppositions. And now way outside, an NBA 3 missed by Fisher. Thomas will try inside. He comes up short. Michael Taylor tried to reset. This will be a backcourt violation run down by Jamal Williams. Jeff Robinson has been the star so far for St. Patrick's.
Yeah, and a very diversified attack offensively. He's 4 for 8 from the field. He's playing power forward in high school, but you can project him more as a small forward, maybe even a 2 as he becomes more comfortable with the college game. But you know, a lot of guys, the transition to college is very difficult. The speed of the game is phenomenal. The players are so big and strong, but his experiences and the body he brings, he is ready-made to step in and contribute immediately.
Fisher hit on the arm, and he'll go to the line. So Corey Fisher will try and extend the lead, but let's take a closer look at one of the reasons that Jeff Robinson is going to have John Calipari salivating, as he will be going to Memphis next year. I mean, he averages 20 points and 10 rebounds per game.
Yeah, if you look at Robinson and also stepping to the foul line, who is Corey Fisher, both of those players, they really deserve a lot of credit. 8 players graduated, 8 seniors from the St. Patrick's team last year. So really, Fisher and also Robinson were the only 2 guys that even played. They had 4 of their contributors that were on JV. 4 others transferred in. So for them to perform this season and be #1 in the nation is really a strong testament to the character and leadership of those seniors.
And they have basically quieted this crowd of 9,000 at the Henderson Center here at Marshall. Patterson draws the foul, a non-shooting foul.
So far, O.J. Mayo is 2 for 8, but the thing to remember is that he's a Gilbert Arenas type player. He's a volume shooter. He's going to put up 25 shots in this game, and he's the kind of guy that can get hot in a hurry and bring his team back.
The ball lost by Early. The other way comes Fisher. Goes to the goal. Score it. And a chance for a 3-point play for Corey Fisher. Well, Corey Fisher and O.J. Mayo are very close friends. They actually have met each other playing a lot of AAU basketball. They talked a lot on their cell phones the past couple of weeks heading towards tonight.
If Corey were to send O.J. a text right now, he'd say, now you know about St. Patrick's. And they say that quarterbacks and shortstops and point guards are born. He's a perfect example of that. coming out of the womb, you knew that he understood about spacing on offense and how to lead a break. And he just is a prototype point guard.
Mayo goes around his good friend and scores on the baseline. I asked O.J. Mayo who was the better trash talker for the past couple of weeks, he or Corey Fisher. And O.J. smiled and said, you know how New Yorkers are. He said Corey Fisher was talking for the past 2 weeks about coming down here to the country. That's what he kept calling West Virginia. Well, he has performed very well so far in the country. Missing that time, though. Mayo, the alley-oop for early, broken up by Strickland. What a play by the sophomore in transition. He stepped on the end line as he still had the basketball. And a very calm Kevin Boyle begs to differ. Bruce Sr. comes back on. A sitting down will be Jamal Williams.
How good is Dexter Strickland going to be? A future star, probable All-American, such good intelligence out there, but also the athleticism is impressive.
Mayo hits a triple, and that draws Huntington back within 11. That's their third three. Mayo has a pair to go along with Chris Early. Strickland picks up a screen, a deep two, no good. Runs down his own miss. Strickland for three again. And the rebound out to Mayo. Mayo fades away. You can sense that Mayo is forcing things. The loose ball, though, falls to Michael Taylor. And he glides in for an easy pair, and a timeout called by Kevin Boyle and St. Pat's. It's back to single digits with 4.5 minutes to go before halftime.
Now, he's not going to get the ball, but watch Patrick Patterson pursue the ball, keep it alive, and the beneficiary is their guard, Michael Taylor. I believe that Patrick Patterson is a truly special player, underutilized in this setting, and it doesn't even matter to him. He has led his team to two state championships in a row, and then O.J. Mayo comes back in town, and he's completely fine with that. He wants to win championships and will be a major star at the next level.
As you said, the top uncommitted player in the country. He has been recruited by and made official visits to Duke, Kentucky, Florida, Wake Forest, and UVA. He also has made, I guess you would call an unofficial visit several times to West Virginia, so the Mountaineers are very much in the mix. And you said he thinks he's going to cut that list from those 6 schools down to 3 in the coming weeks?
Yeah, after the state championship. And this past summer, Dwight Howard of the Orlando Magic had a chance to work with Patrick at the NBA Players Association Top 100 camp. And the thing that he told him is that when he finishes around the basket, to always get his shoulders square. I think it's really fresh the way that these kids are getting tutored by NBA stars. We said OJ's mentor is LeBron James. You can't go wrong with this kind of advice, can you?
Robinson for 3. Got another one. Jeff Robinson does it again. He is the game's high scorer, right alongside Corey Fisher. As Robinson, check that, now has 12 to go with Fisher's 13. Those two players with 25 of the 29 St. Pat's points here in the first half. A turnaround, getting the roll is Patrick Patterson. That's a tough place to allow him to catch the basketball.
And a nice piece of coaching by Lloyd McGuffin. Understand that his big guy does not have a bucket so far to force feed the ball and get him the ball in a scoring position.
Strickland to kick out. On the drive, Holgebrook rejected by Patterson. Loose ball at midcourt and a foul called on Fisher. So all of a sudden things starting to turn Huntington's way a bit more. That's the second on Corey Fisher. And some foul trouble starting to mount at least a bit for the Celtics as their 2 stars, both with a pair of fouls. Robinson has 2, Fisher has 2, even Dexter Strickland has 2. Well, Old Spice brings us the high school showcase, and Old Spice takes us off the court as well with Corey Fisher and Jeff Robinson.
My name is Corey Fisher. It's my basketball team, St. Patrick High School.
And I'm Jeff Robinson, and this is Off the Court.
St. St. Patrick means a lot to me. My mom's from St. Patrick, and then it was good at academics, so I came in for high school.
St. Patrick's tradition means a lot to me because this year we got a chance to do something nobody in New Jersey ever done. That's win a second tournament of champions. We play one game a year in this gym. Once you come in, it's hard for you to get back out because there's so many people that try to pack in here to come see the games.
When we not in the classroom, we always with each other. It's not a one-man thing, two-man thing. It's a team thing.
You see that we have a lot of fun with this team.
It's Celtic Dome, and it's a tradition that we come in the middle and stuff, right?
No music. No music.
That was Corey Fisher and Jeff Robinson, our Old Spice off-the-court players, and a closer look at St. Patrick High School.
What a great feature that is, and it goes a long way to talk about what St. Benedict's and St. Anthony's and St. Patrick's in that New Jersey area are all about. There's a lot of really good private schools in which these kids can bond. They get a lot of discipline, and the academics really set the tone for a smooth transition to their college career. Life after basketball.
Yeah, those three schools almost make up a little New Jersey Tobacco Road, as they are not more than 5 or 6 miles apart. St. Anthony's in Jersey City, St. Benedict's in Newark, St. Patrick in Elizabeth. They make up 3 of the top 5 in the Super 25. And oddly enough, St. Benedict's is an independent, so they will not compete for the state championship in New Jersey. St. Anthony's and St. Patrick's are in the same, what you would call, I guess, division or conference. They are both parochial B schools in New Jersey. And again, the way the New Jersey playoffs work, there are 4 groups in the public schools and 2 parochial divisions, an A and a B. So 2 of the top 3 teams in the country are going to compete just for the parochial B state championship. And then the winner of that state championship goes on to play the other 5 state champions of the Tournament of Champions. But how about being potentially the 3rd-ranked or 4th-ranked team in the country at the end of the year, and you don't even get to hang a banner because you lost to the other team in the top 5 in your own small division of playoffs.
Oh, and Bob, man, you know your New Jersey basketball. I'm very impressed. But the beauty of it is when you schedule, look at St. Patrick's. They have played the #1 national schedule, and they have played 7 of the top 20 teams in the entire nation. And this is the only day of school that they will miss.
They flew down after school yesterday and got in last night about midnight along the baseline. A teardropper from Quintrell Thomas. He's only a junior. I think he might start to get some letters in his mailbox pretty soon, though.
I agree.
If he doesn't already.
Yeah, really, he's a prototype power forward, and he's the next player that's going to be coming on very quick.
And now he makes the steal. Thomas only began playing organized basketball in 8th grade, and gliding in for the dunk, that's only a sophomore in Dexter Strickland.
They don't make sophomores like they used to.
Mayo has the ball slapped by Strickland, somehow holds onto it and draws the foul, so Mayo will go to the line.
O.J. Mayo on the line shooting 2.
You know, flashes of brilliance in transition from Dexter Strickland. He has a chance to be the best ever at St. Patrick's. High skill level, really broke out as a dominant AAU player this summer. Consensus top 10 in his class already. And down the road, you see him as a potential defensive stopper. As an experience so far, he's played head-to-head against some of the best. Tyreek Evans and Corey Stokes. Tonight he's getting a look head-to-head against O.J. Mayo. This is going to propel him to a whole nother stratus as he gets a little bit further in his career.
I asked Kevin Boyle about Dexter Strickland, and the St. Pat's head coach said he reminds him of Dwayne Wade with all of the different things that he does to make guys better. As Fisher rims out a 3, an offensive rebound though by Thomas. Can't connect inside. The loose ball batted around, and it's run down by Quintrell Thomas.
Doesn't it seem like St. Patrick's is getting a lot of these loose balls?
Harris Bennett can't convert. A takeaway by Fisher, but a foul called, and that's his 3rd. Oh, that might do it for the rest of the first half for Corey Fisher, as Kevin Boyle might have to go to his bench. So Fisher now with his 3rd. Again, Dexter Strickland has 2, and Jeff Robinson has 3. So the stars for this St. Pat's team now in foul trouble.
Now for Kevin Boyle, tough decision because his point guard on the road, national TV against the top 10 opponent, somebody's going to have to play very mature basketball. I think he's leaving him in the game, which is pretty amazing. Kevin Boyle, his claim to fame, as he tells it, is that he sent Bill Raftery into broadcasting. He was recruited at Seton Hall by Raft, and then was surrounded by some real good coaches himself. P.J. Carlissimo, ESPN's own John Carroll, and then after he was done, he played in the USBL, and his coach, Tiny Archibald.
Mellow would not be the word that most would use to describe Kevin Boyle's coaching style. So Fisher stays in with his 3 fouls, feeds Thomas, who can't convert. Fisher fights for the loose ball, goes after it again, and scores. How about your 2-guard inside performing at that level?
Can you imagine if he would have got his 4th? That was a critical play.
Mayo steps back, NBA range, and connects. Wow.
You remember the Gilbert Arenas reference that I made? Gets hot in a hurry, doesn't he?
That was a Gilbert Arenas type shot. Traveling call. Jermel Jenkins shuffled his feet as Mayo now 4 of 11 from the field.
Yeah, a deep shooter, incredible range. And I asked him before the game, I said, OJ, I saw you play as a sophomore and a junior, and I have to be honest, your game has plateaued a little bit. And he acknowledged the fact that this is his 6th year of high school basketball, and he's very anxious for the challenge of playing in college. For Tim Floyd with NBA experience, I think that his game is going to continue to grow, and he's got an unbelievable future. I asked him his goals. He said, well, I want to win a lot of NBA titles and be in the Hall of Fame someday. That's
Jenkins.
Not bad.
Michael Taylor with a force and a turnover. As that time, Mayo faded away from behind the backboard and almost got it to go. But let's get to know O.J. Mayo.
He got game. It's very appropriate. Ranked number 3. Really, there are 3 premier guards on the national level. Eric Gordon, who is going to be at Indiana next year, and Derrick Rose, who is going to be joining Robinson down for John Calipari Memphis. Those 3 players are the best. And I think that if you look on a national scale, the guard position is really the gem of the 2007 class.
A steal by Chris Early. And he converts. Well, Jeff Capel wants his team to stress defense. He'll get some from Chris Early next year. Fisher hammered, and he'll go to the line. The Huntington bench reacting. They didn't think that a foul should have been called, but it looked as if the officials had about 3 players to choose from as Chris Early commits the foul.
In transition, this St. Patrick's team attacks the rim in a big way. They're very aggressive, and if you look at the season so far for this Huntington team, they have a bad habit of getting off to slow starts. And part of the problem is that 15 games on their schedule is for mid-level talent in their home state. So I think it's easy to fall into a comfort zone where you don't always have to bring that great energy and effort to start. This should be fun right here. Clear out, really good defender, try to get the ball out of his hands.
O.J. Mayo has 15 points. No other player for Huntington has more than 4. And he'll go for 18 before halftime. He's got it! Mayo with a fadeaway 3. And the Huntington Highlanders, the number 6th ranked team in the country, have pulled within 3 at halftime with a Mayo flurry. The number 1 team in the country, St. Pat's of Elizabeth, New Jersey, had a double figures lead for most of the first half. But Huntington with a run towards the end. We've got a game. Let's take a look back at O.J. Mayo's latest triple. That's a professional shot.
Yeah, and O.J. Mayo had 18 points, slow start, completely brought his team back as advertised. This guy is a special, electrifying player.
Mayo closed the first half 5 of 9 from the field. It's a 3-point game at halftime as we head back to our ESPN studios and check in with Darinoka.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Darinoka here in the ESPN Digital Center. Start off, though, with some bad news to report. 3-time NBA champion, 5-time All-Star Dennis Johnson passed away suddenly today in Austin, Texas. He was coaching the Austin Toros of the NBA's Developmental League. An autopsy will be performed to determine Johnson's exact cause of death. Dennis Johnson, of course, best known perhaps for winning 2 titles in the 80s with the Boston Celtics. That starting lineup of DJ, Danny Ainge, Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and Robert Parrish. No doubt one of the best known starting lineups in basketball history. A stellar defender, DJ was a 6-time selection to the NBA's all-defensive first team. Dennis Johnson passes away today at the age of 52. Still to come on this halftime report, one of 2 remaining teams still unbeaten in conference play. The University of Memphis getting a bit of a first half test with Rice. We'll check in. That's coming up.
ESPN's presentation of the Old Spice High School Showcase, presented by Old Spice, is brought to you by the United States Marine Corps, the few, the proud, the Marines.
They say family that prays together stays together, and one that walks apart just falls apart. So together we stand, divided we fall, united we form Voltron and take on all. Let's move, yes. The birds left the nest. I'm all grown up, I gotta fly with the rest. Best of the best is what we strive to be. Yeah, a legacy is what we trying to leave. Get in, let's say goodbye to the past. The future's here at last. The second coming, the new beginning. The truth is speaking. You should listen. So glorious, victorious. We take what we want. We born warriors.
This is the all-new CR-V, redesigned with a whole new viewpoint on styling and engineering. This is the Ridgeline, the first truck with a lockable in-bed trunk. The Pilot, it seats 8 and has 244 horsepower. And the Element, which can reconfigure itself in 64 different ways. Honda, 5-star crash test safety rating on every truck we make.
Hey, Mike. I'll be right back.
Thanks.
These are for your rental.
That's it.
Yeah. Body shop is picking up your car.
Right.
We'll call you.
Thanks.
Switch to Progressive and get complimentary concierge service. It's about you, and it's about time.
O.J. Mayo and his Huntington Highlanders used a late first half run to close the gap to just 3 behind the #1 team in all the nation, St. Patrick's High out of New Jersey. Second half is coming up. Meanwhile, #7 Memphis still unbeaten in Conference USA play. One of only 2 teams unbeaten in conference play in Division I. Memphis hosting Rice, and that's Chris Douglas Roberts driving and laying it in. Memphis then up 6. Douglas Roberts one more time. Baseline. Oh. Nice play inside. Memphis down 1, though, after a 9-0 Rice lead. Antonio Anderson puts the Tigers back on top, and now they're on top now by 16 points late in the first half. Coming up at 9 Eastern on ESPN. Duke, now ranked again, visits Clemson. After a 17-0 start, Clemson has gone 2-7 since. They've fallen apart. Fran Fraschilla, is this game a must-win for the Tigers?
Clemson's game with Duke tonight is as close to a must-win game for the Tigers as any they've played all year. After the 17-0 start, they're now 19-7 with a 31 RPI, and we know the RPI is just a tool. What's in their favor is games remaining with 3 of the teams in the ACC with winning records. Duke tonight, and then at Virginia Tech and Boston College on the road as well. A win over Duke would certainly solidify Oliver Purnell's team's chances.
A good resume always gets you in. Taking a look at Clemson's, is it good? Strength of schedule, a little bit questionable, but they are 9-6 against the RPI's top 100. Playing well down the stretch, though, not something the Tigers are doing. When we return here at the half, we check in on one of the greatest high school players of his generation, LeBron James, now leading his Cavaliers into battle tonight against the Chicago Bulls. Highlights and an update coming up.
I used to think it didn't matter what deodorant I chose. Dumb. This test shows that Old Spice is the right choice. Old Spice performs in real man situations like basketball, recon, and Frenching. Try Old Spice, and if you still don't think it's awesome, call 1-800-PROVE-IT, and they'll buy you a stick of something that smells like wildflowers and shame. Take the Old Spice challenge. I did.
I'm thinking of a number. Do you know what it is? It's 20 million. That's how many people have already checked their free Experian credit report at freecreditreport.com for some very good reasons.
Now we can monitor all 3 of our national credit reports every day.
It helps us save money and check for potential identity theft.
I got my credit report and credit score online in seconds.
Isn't it time to get your free credit report and score? Well, log on now to freecreditreport.com.
Offer applies with the Roman Triple Advantage.
I've always considered myself a pretty knowledgeable sports fan. That was until recently.
They finally got those college football rankings down to a science.
He was talking sports out of his
Ignorance, really.
Boy, that Vince Young turned out to be a bust, huh?
I didn't know that by watching ESPN News, I could get up to the minute sports news 24 hours a day. So now when I talk sports, I do it right.
I talk a little bit, yeah.
I am on the phone all the time, constantly.
I got digital phone service from Time Warner Cable. I can call anyone across the country.
You don't have to worry about any extra charges or fees.
I love the fact that I have the same phone bill every month.
I wish I switched a lot sooner. I could have been saving a lot of money that way.
I would never go back to the other service.
It's just almost ridiculous not to use it. It is that good.
In a recent study, digital phone was ranked highest in customer satisfaction. So switch to Time Warner Cable today.
My neighbor drove all over town to find the best deal on a cell phone. I just logged on to Let's Talk. They make it easy to compare plans from all major carriers and find cell phone deals that are much cheaper than retail.
Like this sleek Motorola Sliver with iTunes. A $220 value, yours free with new singular calling plan.
Let's Talk has the best prices, the best plans, and the most free phones guaranteed.
Log on to letstalk.com/sliver or call now to get your free phone. Let's Talk, the smartest way to shop for cell phones. So log on or call now.
Out LeBron James and his Cleveland Cavaliers hosting the Chicago Bulls. That's Ben Gordon, little turnaround baseline jumper. Cleveland's won 6 in a row against the Bulls at home. Then you want LeBron? You got LeBron in the old throwbacks, the orange unis. LeBron in traffic, going off glass, Cavs up 3, and then Ben Gordon, part of a 7-0 Chicago run to put the Bulls up by 4 at that point, and then LeBron, he did this in high school in Akron, and he's doing it in the NBA. This is just rather nasty. 25 apiece, the two teams now in quarter number 2. Elsewhere, Miami guard Dwayne Wade dislocated his left shoulder last night against Houston. He flew to Miami today. He's now weighing treatment options. Wade out indefinitely. His team plays the Dallas Mavericks in Texas tonight at 9:30 Eastern. Second round of the Accenture Match Play Championship, Tiger Woods. If he wins, he'll be a third of the way to his 8th consecutive PGA Tour title. That putt on 1 got him the win, and he was 1 up right off the bat. And then second shot on the par 4 fourth. We'll call it 7 feet. Tiger would sink the birdie putt, goes 3 up through 4, and then this for birdie on 6. A piece of cake. Tiger wins over Tim Clark, playing in his first tournament of the year, 5-4. Next up, it is Nick O'Hearn, who beat Tiger 2 years ago, by the way. O.J. Mayo, the future Southern Cal Trojan, 18.6 rebounds. It's a good one. Second half coming up.
Thanks for such great rates. Your website is so easy.
Progressive saved me a ton of money on my motorcycle insurance.
Your company fits my lifestyle. Thank you.
I saved over $500 on car insurance by switching to Progressive. Yeah, it sounds like a commercial, but yeah, it happened.
Get more for your money at Progressive.com. Progressive, it's about you and it's about time.
We don't build trucks. We engineer them. We don't settle for existing technology. We invent new ways of taking it further. We don't look at innovation as a means to an end, but rather as a way to give you every advantage possible. Because at the end of the day, you're the one in the driver's seat. Honda Trucks. Now get APR financing as low as 0.9% on select Honda Trucks for well-qualified buyers.
Hey, man, how'd you do today?
All right, but I totally ate it on my last run. Do I have a big bump?
No.
Cool.
New Totino's Mega Pizza Rolls. They'll change your definition of big. Go big with Winter X Games and Totino's Mega Rolls. Log on to getmegaxgames.com or text. You could win the grand prize 2007 Jeep Patriot packed with winter gear or one of thousands of cool instant win prizes, including free Totino's Mega Rolls. Enter now and get mega. Including free Totino's Mega Rolls. Enter now and get mega.
Max Mancini's Nature Valley, Pyramid Peak, Colorado. Where's your Nature Valley? 100% natural, whole grains. Delicious.
Just about set to start the third quarter in our Old Spice High School Showcase here on ESPN. St. Patrick, New Jersey against Huntington, West Virginia. And the Celtics with a 3-point lead at halftime. Bob Wischusen and Tim McCormick back here in Huntington. It's been a good game so far. It's basically been a story of two quarters. O.J. Mayo lit it up in the second quarter, counteracting what Corey Fisher and Jeff Robinson did in the first quarter for St. Pat's.
Well, Bob, I thought it was a wide-open attack, and also the 14 offensive rebounds by St. Patrick's was very impressive. But really, there were two stars that stood out here in the first half, and I was very impressed with the way that Jeff Robinson was able to bring his aerial attack around the basket. Also, if you face him too much in the paint, he made the threes, had 12 points and 5 rebounds. And on the other bench was the star of stars, O.J. Mayo. How do you stop him? You're scared to death of his drive. You start to sag off. Then he nails the threes. He made 4 out of 8 from beyond the arc. 18 points. He had a really strong finish to his first half.
And a great first half for Corey Fisher as well. The Star Watch players, well, they combined for 34 points. Not bad predicting on our part.
Not bad at all. I really think that the key in the second half, though, is that Huntington has to do a better job dealing with long rebounds. Their defense was good, and they forced 38% shooting from the Celtics. However, they didn't clear up the boards.
St. Pat's, for some reason, doubles off of O.J. Mayo. That, I'm sure for Kevin Boyle, is a breakdown, and Mayo makes them pay, and we're tied. The first shot of the second half puts us back on even numbers.
Hello, 32. I think they talked about him in the scouting report, and he's going to be a major pro, and he's an All-American. Don't leave him. He's now 5 of 9 from 3.
Fisher around a double team. He'll try and equal Mayo's triple, and Corey Fisher picks right up where he left off at halftime. His 3 makes it, again, a 3-point lead for St. Pat's.
They're really enjoying, though, that this is a college-type matchup with Mayo and Strickland. You see, they're going to double O.J. Mayo and get the ball out of his hands.
Bruce Sr. kicking one in the corner that Taylor almost lost. Now it's Patterson out of a double team. Finds Sr. cutting to the basket. And again, Lloyd McGuffin called Bruce Sr. our garbage man. He does pick up a lot of loose balls and the trash around the basket when either Patterson or Mayo are double teamed.
Yeah, 6'7", 240. I would say that's the kind of player that's a luxury item for a coach. You never worry about where he is and what he's doing.
Bruce Sr., Patrick Patterson, Chris Early, who we saw in the first half as well, Michael Taylor, who is the point guard, and O.J. Mayo. All 6 of those players are seniors, and all 6 basically grew up within blocks of one another here in Huntington. So unlike a lot of the prep schools around the country, even like St. Pat's that has talent from all over the New York tri-state area that comes to Elizabeth and plays for them, this is really a great story, and that Huntington is a legitimate, perfect storm of local players playing for their true high school team. They are all Huntington products. And here comes Chris Early back in as Bruce Sr. will sit down. Again, Chris Early, the sixth man for this Huntington team. He is signed with Oklahoma to go play for Jeff Capel. He chose Oklahoma over VCU, Miami, St. Joe's, and Providence.
Now, remember when Jeff Capel was the coach at VCU, he was really recruiting Chris Early very hard. When he took the job at Oklahoma, then all of a sudden it was a perfect fit for him to go into an emerging program.
From the corner, it's Early. Offensive rebound and a stick back by Patterson.
Patrick Patterson is a flat-out stud in the low post. If you don't give him the ball, he'll just go get it himself.
Only 6 points so far for Patterson. He's now 2 for 4 from the field. Mayo has 21. Patterson has only 6.
One of the best big guys. And really, if you're looking at this class, Kevin Love may be the top-ranked player in the entire nation. But if you're talking about the true power guys, not a lot of... Wow, what a delivery.
Great backdoor cut by Jermel Jenkins. Jenkins only a junior, so he'll be coming back to St. Pat's next year. O.J. Mayo, though, now has 5 points here in the third quarter. 23 overall as he's up to 8 for 16 from the field.
You think Tim Floyd will be able to teach him a little bit about the transition to the NBA from his experiences with the Bulls?
Spinning and delivering again is Corey Fisher. Well, it almost seems right after Mayo does it at one end, Corey Fisher wants to do it at the other. Mayo working on the sophomore, Dexter Strickland, gets him in the air, and then Strickland with the quick hands knocks it out of bounds.
If there's a flaw in O.J. Mayo's game coming into the season, a lot of people said that he was an erratic perimeter shooter. Not seeing it tonight.
Fades away. Mayo's got another one. That time he used the window.
Yeah, and it really is a testament to hard work. His coach, Lloyd McGuffey, said that McGuffin he's been staying after practice every night shooting 100 jump shots, and that's really the way that you erase any weaknesses in your stroke.
Well, Mayo actually said he's going to go early to USC as Fisher knocks down yet another one. Corey Fisher. That's why Jay Wright is so excited that he'll be heading to Villanova. But O.J. Mayo said that in June he is going to be going out to USC because he knows he has to work on his point guard skills. That's going to be the position that he'll be playing next year with the Trojans, and he wants to get early work in. He won 2 Ohio Mr. Basketball titles, along with 2 titles as Robinson hits a 3 from the corner, and then decided after getting a lot of exposure playing in a big city in Cincinnati, he wanted to come home and finish his high school career playing his senior season in his hometown where his family is, with the young men that he has grown up playing youth basketball with.
A little tennis back and forth between Fisher and Mayo, going head-to-head, scoring with ease, electrifying performances, and at the other end, O.J. likes it but says, I can do better. Great backdoor cut. St. Patrick's on the road by 6.
No free rides on the road to victory. What it takes to pay the toll? Gatorade. Is it in you?
waited too long to try an Old Spice man. Dumb. The Old Spice man performs best. He's got the experience I need and the odor protection I love. Plus, he lasts longer than the other guy. Which I love even more than the odor protection. Come on, take the Old Spice challenge. I did.
In all the world, there are a select few who at their very core are capable of incredible transformation. Under the most grueling conditions, they are shaped, hardened, sharpened, ready to stand among the most elite of all warriors. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Dorinoco, the SportsCenter in-game. Memphis in its 15-game winning streak at home against Rice. That's a little defense to offense with Willie Kemp puts Memphis up 21. And then just before the half, Lorenzo Williams for 3, but it is an 18-point Memphis lead at the half. Back to Bob and Tim in Huntington, guys.
All right, Dari, thanks very much. The Old Spice High School Showcase, and who knew that Go Huntington High has the exact same number of letters in it as we love ESPN too.
What are the chances of that?
Well, not quite, but Huntington High School here in Huntington, West Virginia. They are the number 6 overall high school team in the country. An enrollment of about 1,700. They have won the Class 3A state title the last 2 seasons. No team in West Virginia history has ever won 3 straight AAA titles. That's the highest level of public school basketball in the state. And a rejection inside. Quintrell Thomas tosses back the drive from Chris Early.
Do you think Soupy Sales is in the house here tonight? One of the famous alumni. There's some other famous people in the state that are visiting here tonight.
Yes, the Stars have come out to watch the Stars perform, and Corey Fisher is on fire. Fisher now has 26 points. That was his 3rd made 3.
How do you like a backcourt next year with Scotty Reynolds and also Fisher?
Jamal Williams uses the window. But St. Pat's has the 7-point lead in the final 3 minutes of the 3rd quarter.
These teams are very similar in their offensive approach, but the difference so far is that St. Patrick's looks a little bit better on the defensive end of the court.
Robinson shuffled his feet.
One thing that you're noticing now is that St. Patrick's is really making a concerted effort to get the ball out of O.J. Mayo's hands. Kevin Boyle has the attitude that if we're going to lose this game, O.J. Mayo is not going to be the guy that beats us. He wants other people to have the ball in their hands.
And what does it say that right now Kevin Boyle is using the sophomore, Dexter Strickland, number 1, to shadow Mayo? He's got a couple of seniors on the floor. And now Mayo gets it at midcourt, and right on his hip is the sophomore Strickland. Mayo rises and connects again. That is an undefendable shot. Mayo leads all scorers. He has 27.
Well, Bob, did you notice that he was really patient? The last couple trips were not plays for him, so he sat back and enjoyed the work of his teammates. But that was his, and he owned that possession. He almost looked at Strickland like, little punk sophomore, you can't cover me.
Fisher right around Mayo. Inside, Robinson reverses and scores. Robinson has 19. Patterson has been quiet, and he misses everything, but collects his own miss and converts inside. Well, Billy Donovan, the head coach from the University of Florida, is in the building as a timeout has been called. And he is one of the 6 remaining suitors for Patrick Patterson that are still on Patterson's list.
Yeah, he may be telling him that Joe Kimno and Al Horford may be gone. Now, I want you to watch the work of O.J. Mayo, and I want you to listen carefully to what I'm going to say. O.J. Mayo is an arrogant basketball player, and I use that as a compliment. Kobe Bryant was very arrogant when he was in high school. Michael Jordan was as well. And I think that down the road, you'll understand what I'm saying. When he steps on the court, I get the sense that he looks at other people like, you can't stop me. You can send a double team, and they can't stop me. And I think that is the fuel that will propel him to greatness in the NBA.
Although that arrogance at times leads to immaturity, and even as a senior, back in January, he bumped an official and received a 3-game suspension for that act. He was given 2 technicals, questioned the second technical. Basically, his point was, I didn't even say anything, and the official gave me a second technical. When he went to argue it after being ejected from the game, he bumped the official. And under any circumstance, that's just something that has to be considered totally unacceptable. And so he did say he learned a lot from that experience, and a 3-game suspension was served in time for him to be available for these last few games, including tonight, for Huntington.
Well, that's the nice thing. This is a learning experience. These are high school players, and he will learn that at this level you never talk to officials. Now, it's part of the Rasheed Wallace syndrome that these kids see confrontation after almost every call in NBA basketball. Not as much now that the rules have changed, but you get a false sense of security. High school kids should never say anything to a referee.
Fisher, one-on-one. Gets some contact off the window, plus the foul. Well, Corey Fisher simply put his head down and made up his mind that was going up. Draws the foul, and it's O.J. Mayo that commits it.
Yeah, Corey Fisher learned his craft in the Bronx, on the playground, power point guard, and believe me, I just had a John Bagley flashback. Remember back in the day at Boston College? Being able to use his body and power through the defense.
Mayo loses the rebound, goes into a tumble on the sideline with Quintrell Thomas. And Thomas ruled to be in contact with the sideline while he was in contact with the basketball. So it goes back over to Huntington in a 7-point game inside of the final minute of the third quarter. Bob Wischusen and Tim McCormick in Huntington. This is the Old Spice High School Showcase. The #1 high school team in the country, St. Patrick's of Elizabeth, New Jersey, against Huntington High School here in Huntington, West Virginia. O.J. Mayo misses inside, and this is the sophomore Strickland in transition. Sets up Fisher. Fisher with the left hand, can't get it to go, and a one-handed rebound by Patterson. 2-on-1 the other way. Mayo stops and connects from 3. And then ties his shoe. How about that? He can do it all.
He can do it all.
And Mayo commits a foul intentionally in the backcourt so he can tie his shoe.
It's called a double bow. The only flaw in his game is that he needs to double up his laces here. In transition, a 3-on-1. You take the jumper there, you hit your teammates. I guess that when you're an All-American, you've earned the right to freelance a little bit and force that shot up.
Second team foul, both against O.J. Mayo here in the second half. That was his second personal foul. Robinson for 3 to try and beat the buzzer, and it gets stuck. A held ball, possession arrow goes to St. Pat's.
Isn't that kind
with
of
0.3 seconds to go in the third quarter?
Isn't that a tough angle to stick it between the rim and the backboard from almost, wasn't quite straight on, but I don't think I've seen that happen this year.
Oh, I've done that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. As a career 13% shooter, I have definitely stuck the ball into that spot. Patrick Patterson breaks up the lob attempt as Robinson tried to get 3. A 4-point game as we head to the fourth quarter. The Old Spice High School Showcase. #1 St. Patrick's against #6 Huntington.
So, 12 o'clock tea time, someone rear ends us. Day shot, right? Except I just switched to Progressive Direct Online. They gave me a couple of competitive prices. I picked Progressive and saved $400 a year. And I've been trying to tell these guys I also get their concierge service. So I drop off my car, pick up a rental, and we're gone. So I save $400 and our tea time. Fantastic.
Progressive Direct. It's about you. And it's about time. Sign up online and save $50.
2007 Bassmaster Classic begins Saturday at 7 a.m. and continues at 10 p.m. on ESPN2.
It's on, even when the lights aren't.
It's on when there's an emergency.
It's on whenever I need it.
With Verizon, when the power goes out, your phone stays on. Plus, we handle over 1.2 billion calls a day with over 99.99% reliability. Now that's tough to beat.
My phone, it's always on.
Verizon, it's the network.
The cover price. Use your credit card and get this collectible football honoring the champion Colts. Designed exclusively for Sports Illustrated, it features scores from the entire season and includes a display stand and certificate of authenticity. Celebrate the Colts' unforgettable victory with the official Super Bowl DVD, the SI commemorative book, and the exclusive football. This limited championship package is only available from Sports Illustrated. Go to sitvoffer.com or call right now.
It's warm in here. I have the cups lined up as we set the start of the fourth quarter. 9,000 have packed the Henderson Center here on the campus of Marshall University. Checking our Nike game track, 48% from the field for both of these two teams. And again, our Star Track players, Corey Fisher and O.J. Mayo, have both been spectacular.
Well, the shooting in the third quarter was just tremendous. O.J. and Fisher both combined for 12. Listen to this, 81% from the field for St. Pat's, 65% for Huntington.
Mayo puts his shoulder down, gets the roll. So O.J. Mayo now has 32 of his team's 55. And it's a 2-point game as we begin the fourth quarter.
I asked O.J., are you more of a two-guard or a point guard down the road? And he said he's definitely a point guard. And with the body type, you look and see if he can maybe become a Chauncey Billups type of point guard.
Mayo for the tie, no good. And the rebound to Quintrell Thomas.
When you think that we know he can score, now the next stage in his game is being able to run an offense and make other people better. That's the big challenge he's going to face.
Dexter Strickland hands it off in the corner to Fisher. Reverses and can't convert. The putback blocked. Another chance. Strickland, the sophomore, can't get it to go. And the rebound grabbed down by Mayo. Mayo with a passing transition and a one-handed jam.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Giving it up, the sensational delivery in transition. O.J. Mayo is the best player in high school basketball in the 94-foot speed game.
Chris Early's dunk ties the game with 6:40 to go, and immediately Kevin Boyle called timeout.
Now, how do you slow him down? He rebounds the ball. His handle is superior, and the one-hand delivery is textbook stuff. O.J. Mayo is as good as advertised.
Well, according to our ESPN 150 here, the top 5 players in the country. You mentioned Love and Gordon as being impact players right along with O.J. Mayo.
Yeah, Kyle Singler is the only player that I have not seen in person. I think that you can flip a coin, though, between the 3 guards. Derrick Rose is the best half-court point guard. And then Eric Gordon is a phenomenal scorer. O.J. Mayo is a combination that does it all. Also, a couple other wing players that have to be given consideration are Nolan Smith from Oak Hill and Austin Freeman from DeMatha. Also a big fan of Michael Beasley, who's going to be at Kansas State next year.
What does John Calipari have? A heck of a recruiting class coming in next year as well. From the corner, a 3 missing by Fisher. The rebound of the baseline. Strickland saves it. Fisher wanted to shoot and lost it. Didn't realize there was help on the backside. But now St. Pat's gets it back. Fisher with a beautiful feed to Thomas. And St. Pat's takes the lead once again. Mayo from NBA range. And that's a force. Robinson couldn't corral the loose ball, though. And now it's Michael Taylor. Is there a danger that Mayo shoots so much that in crunch time, his teammates not being involved, they might be a bit cold and Jamal Williams can't convert?
It's a legit question, and Patrick Patterson, who is an All-American in his own right, has only taken 3 shots in this game.
Down the lane, Strickland off the feed from Fisher. And it's a 4-point lead. Dexter Strickland now has 6. Wide open Mayo. Underneath finding Jamal Williams. He can't hit, but Patterson there on the follow.
A couple teams that are planning on winning state championships, and if a national championship just happens to happen, that's actually frosting on the cake for them.
Timeout called by Kevin Boyle. And Boyle furious with Quintrell Thomas. College basketball on ESPN continues Saturday night. DJ White and Indiana looking for the season sweep of Drew Neitzel and Michigan State. 2 of Tim McCormick's favorite college basketball teams meeting Saturday night in primetime, presented by DirecTV as part of Judgment Week, presented by Cisco on ESPN. Saturday at 9 Eastern, also available on ESPN HD.
A lot of good stuff in the Big Ten. Ohio State and Wisconsin on Saturday. And now all of a sudden, Michigan State, who is hoping to grab a bid to the NCAA tournament with back-to-back victories against Wisconsin if they beat Indiana this weekend, all of a sudden you can say maybe a 7 seed in the NCAA tournament.
Again, as I said earlier, that when you were using words to describe Kevin Boyle, mellow would not be the first adjective to come to mind.
I would agree with that. And he actually played during the golden era of the Big East. Couple of players he went head-to-head against. How about Chris Mullen and Patrick Ewing? That was his era, and he wanted to play a little bit more, so he transferred to St. Peter's.
Foul called on the interiors. Chris Early just grabbed the jersey of Jeff Robinson and was holding on. So Early picks up the foul. And Kevin Boyle wanted an intentional foul. He was looking for the arms crossed, basically saying he grabbed his jersey. How much more intentional does it need to be?
You know, Jeff Robinson needs the ball. He has been quieted down lately, and he's a kid that can score from deep and also at rim level. I'd like to see him get a touch.
St. Patrick's the #1 team in the country. Huntington #6. And a great play by Quintrell Thomas to keep it alive for St. Pat. Strickland off to Fisher. His shot partially blocked by Early. Early out of the pack, finds Mayo. Mayo with the finger roll, and that ties the game with 4.5 minutes to go. Mayo has 34.
And he lost the handle, or we would have seen something truly spectacular.
Robinson gets himself caught. Some one-on-one basketball now for both of these teams. Fisher, hand checked. Jamal Williams called for the foul.
Now, Huntington has really intensified their defense. They're a man defensive team. They love to pressure the ball, and that's a great idea when Patrick Patterson is guarding the rim. He's averaging about 5 block shots per game. Had a triple-double earlier this season. Last contest, he had 26 and 21 rebounds.
Trying to avoid the 5 seconds. Instead, they get the turnover. Here's Williams. Huntington takes the lead.
Hey, the #1 team in the country is down by 2 with under 4 minutes to go.
The first time Huntington has had the lead tonight. Strickland lost it on the baseline. Again, remember, it was 21-7 at the end of the first quarter. St. Patrick's on top. The Celtics led after one by 14. Huntington has come all the way back to take a 2-point lead under 4 minutes to go.
I used to think it didn't matter what deodorant I chose. Dumb. This test shows that Old Spice is the right choice. Old Spice performs in real man situations like basketball, recon, and Frenching. Try Old Spice, and if you still don't think it's awesome, call 1-800-PROVE-IT, and they'll buy you a stick of something that smells like wildflowers and shame. Take the Old Spice challenge. I did.
They say family that prays together stays together, and one that walks apart just falls apart. So fly with the rest. Best of the best is what we strive to be. Yeah, a legacy is what we trying to leave. Let's say goodbye to the past. The future's here at last. The second coming, the new beginning. The truth is speaking. You should listen. So glorious, victorious. We take what we want. We born warriors.
ESPN's presentation of the Old Spice High School Showcase, presented by Old Spice, is brought to you by Progressive. Visit Progressive.com or call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. Nike Basketball and the Air Force 25. And Old Spice. Smell great.
The Old Spice High School Showcase has been just that. What a showcase for the number 6 Huntington Highlanders, taking on St. Patrick of New Jersey. Corey Fisher and O.J. Mayo are star watch. Well, not too bad when they combine for over 60.
In the big games this year, Huntington has gotten off to slow starts versus the elite teams and then finished very strong. Against Artesia in California, they have Renardo Sidney. Then also against DeMatha, against Austin Freeman. 2 games they made late finishes and won.
Robinson can't get the roll, but Quintrell Thomas inside with the putback. Kevin Boyle said that Quintrell Thomas reminds him of Ben Wallace.
Well, that's
he wants him to have a more polished offensive game, but boy, he can clean up on the boards, and there is another pro move by O.J. Mayo. 36 points. He is the game's high scorer.
Next year, Gabe Pruitt and Nick Young are going to love playing with him.
Looking to go backdoor was Jamel Jenkins. It stays with St. Pat's with 3:19 remaining.
If things continue to hold, you get the sense that 9,000 people here are going to want to run on the court and share in this. Corey Fisher time.
Fisher has it with 3:10 to go. Penetrates. Held ball. No, a foul call. Oh, the entire building here on the campus of Marshall was looking for a held ball, and instead Jamal Williams called for his 4th foul, and Fisher goes to the line with a chance to tie the game.
Oh yeah, there was contact early, a little Khalid El Amin to the rim. Defensively, you've got to initiate that contact a lot earlier because he had already started his shot. Off the dribble, goes left and right equally well. You get the feeling that he almost wants to hit you, draw the contact, knock the defense off, and then finish.
Fisher gets the roll, ties the game with 3 minutes to go, which means only 3 more minutes for another Tim McCormick reference. He has given us Khalid El Amin and John Bagley.
Oh, don't worry.
Here in the second half.
Sherman Douglas is coming up soon.
I was going to say, can World Be Free be far behind? On the baseline early, goes for the dunk and pins the ball between the rim and the backboard, and the possession arrow goes to St. Pat's.
Yeah, and we just tied the number of stuck balls in the backboard for a half at 2.
Lloyd McGuffin wanted a foul call, and I think Early may have been hit pretty hard. Wonder if the officials got tied up more in the fact that the ball got stuck than the contact, and Corey Fisher breaks the tie with a huge 3.
Man.
Fisher has 33 points to O.J. Mayo's 36. What a duel. Now Mayo loses it. And Jeff Robinson has the loose ball.
Remember, O.J. Mayo and Corey Fisher have been text messaging each other all week long.
Cutting to the goal and laying it home, the sophomore Dexter Strickland. A 5-point lead for St. Pat's, and Huntington calls time. Lloyd McGuffin was furious that a foul was not called on this play a moment ago.
Well, what you're seeing is on the backdoor cut, very physical. Is their body? Absolutely. I think a foul could have been called in that area. And then also the 3-pointer. Corey Fisher has just emerged as taking this game over. And then the last basket you're going to see, spreading the court. And then Dexter Strickland is just a future star.
Could you have imagined a much higher level of play than we've gotten tonight?
Well, I expected high octane, but I didn't think that they would be this efficient and strong with the ball. In the open, we talked about the fact that this doesn't feel like a high school game. It has more of an atmosphere of a very strong mid-major. And so I just think that if you give me these 11 guys that really contribute, I think that anybody could win at the next level if you just take them and put them on a college team.
Both teams with one timeout left. So far in the second half, only one team foul for St. Patrick's. They've got 6 fouls to give, or 5 fouls to give before they would put Huntington at the line. Again, the rules in high school basketball, the same as college. They keep the fouls based on halves. 17 fouls, the 1-and-1, 10 team fouls, and you shoot a pair.
Oh, first time we're seeing 2-3 zone in this game. Nice out of the timeout. Kevin Boyle wants to eliminate the play from Huntington.
Mayo missed everything from 3. 1 minute, 50 seconds to go. St. Patrick's with the ball in a 5-point lead. Fisher finding Strickland. A slip pass to Jenkins, and it's rejected. Mayo saves it, but right to Robinson. Fisher thought about a deep one. Now goes to the basket. Misses with the left hand. Offensive rebound by Robinson, and he's bumped by Patrick Patterson. That's only the 6th team foul against Huntington. So unless they call that in the act, then St. Pat's will have the ball in a side out.
Here in the second half, we've had a little Corey Fisher love fest, but you have to point out the fact that with a minute and a half to go, 5-point lead in the ball, you don't need a shot here. Right there, pull it out, make them follow you.
Strickland just about created a steal, and instead a foul called in the backcourt with 1:24 to go. And you're right, you wonder why St. Patrick's is forcing the ball to the rim offensively. They have a 5-point lead, 90 seconds remaining, and there's no shot clock in high school basketball.
No, especially because Patrick Patterson is one of the premier shot blockers in the nation. And so why try to force a tough shot over? I think it would be a wise move, especially because Corey Fisher can handle the ball. St. Pat's is really strong with their ball handling. Pull it out.
Mayo penetrates. His floater will go. It's a one-possession game. Coming up at a minute remaining. Now let's see what St. Patrick's does with the basketball, considering the fact, again, there is no shot clock. And how long will it take Huntington to foul? Instead, Kevin Boyle wants to talk things over. 30-second timeout called by St. Pat's. That's their final timeout. And again, the Old Spice High School Showcase will continue. We have plenty of high school games coming up on our family of networks.
Yeah, and I'm going to be hanging out at the McDonald's events. It's in Louisville this year. The announcement coming up shortly, and I have a strong sense that several of these players will be hanging out at the McDonald's All-American game.
And the Jordan Classic features some of the best players in the country as well on April 21st on ESPN2. Well, this game has been everything we could have asked for and more.
Yeah, and the caliber of decision-making has been a little bit suspect down the stretch with some of the shots, but these kids have such a high skill level, and I'm really impressed with the fundamental play. A lot of the elite programs now are powered by AAU programs. The summer ball players run up and down in transition. They try to dunk everything. But these are two programs where the coaches have really emphasized fundamentals, ball handling, passing, being strong with the ball. Very impressive. And I really think that this is going to be a little keep-away action for the St. Patrick's guards.
How long does it take Huntington to foul? 48 seconds to go. Wide open underneath Thomas. Rejected by Patterson. Why? Why do you need to release the ball there?
Do you think OJ is going to give it up? I don't.
Mayo for the tie. Got it! Did he call it? I think not. Pandemonium on the campus here at Marshall. 23 seconds to go, and the top-ranked team in the country out of timeouts. Robinson for 3. Air ball. 15 seconds remaining. Huntington has one timeout left. And it looks as if Lloyd McGuffin wants to call it. And a foul call. Fouls to give, though. The crowd, I think, thinking the Mayo's going to go to the line. He is not. Only the third team foul was called just now against
here's the strategy.
St. Pat's.
They will continue to foul every time that OJ, who will absolutely have the ball in his hands, tries to drive. St. Patrick's will foul.
And the timeout is finally called by Huntington. That is their last timeout. So 8.9 seconds to go. St. Patrick's releases the ball for some unknown reason, considering the fact that Huntington had to tie, and here's Mayo for the tie.
Yeah, good help defense. It was straight on, a little bit long. It worked out, and you absolutely know that O.J. Mayo will have the ball in his hands. The reason is that even if you try to foul him, he has the athletic ability to still get a shot up towards the basket. Now, do you use him as a decoy? They are going to be so focused on trying to foul and get him to pass the ball that I think that he may have teammates open. But remember, they still have fouls to give for St. Patrick's. They don't want the shot clock to get down without using those.
Tonight's Old Spice player of the game, O.J. Mayo. 41 points, 7 from behind the arc. And with 8.9 seconds to go against St. Patrick's, only with 3 team fouls. Timmy just mentioned fouls to give. They have 3 fouls to give here in the last 9 seconds. So they can get all over Mayo. And a foul called on Jamel Jenkins in the backcourt.
And Kevin Boyle saying you don't need to foul immediately. Let some of that clock run. And we talked about that 16 for 28 from the field by O.J. Mayo. How do you like the fact that he started out 1 for 7, 5 seconds?
Down to 4.9, and there's another foul given by Jenkins. That's his third. Only the team's 5th, so they still have 1 more foul to give with 4.9 seconds to go. Now it's Taylor off to Mayo. Mayo from midcourt. And we'll go to overtime between #1 St. Pat's and the 6th-ranked team in the country, Huntington, here in West Virginia. What a first 32 minutes we've had. 4 more minutes up on the clock when we come back.
They say a family that plays together stays together, and one that walks apart just falls apart. So together we stand, divided we fall, united we form Voltron and take on all. Let's move, yes. The birds left the nest. I'm all grown up, I gotta fly with the rest. Best of the best is what we strive to be. Yeah, a legacy is what we trying to leave. Let's say goodbye to the past. The future's here at last. The second coming, the new beginning. The truth is speaking. You should listen. So glorious, victorious. We take what we want. We born warriors.
Bob Wischusen and Tim McCormick back in Huntington, West Virginia. We couldn't have asked for more tonight in the Old Spice High School Showcase. The #1 team in the country, St. Pat's and Huntington, tied at 70. And here's our player of the game, O.J. Mayo.
Yeah, his jump shot has been stellar, pulling up, making everything. And his jumper's not hitting anything but bottom of net. Really impressed with his floor game, sharing, and in transition, that's the best thing he does. Now let's take a look at the shot that tied the game late. A step back a la Larry Bird. A little bit long on the release, but it works. And Bob, as we've watched both of these teams, I think that they have mismanaged some of these plays. As you look at the overtime rules, it's going to be 4 minutes. Each team gets a timeout. But they're high school kids. And the fact of the matter is, this is a learning experience and will benefit them as they go for state championships.
As we are set to start overtime, St. Patrick still has 1 more foul to give, as they are a foul away from even putting Huntington into a 1-and-1. Only 16 fouls have been scored against Huntington as well. So basically we're in a situation where after 1 more St. Pat's team foul, we'll be shooting 1-and-1 in overtime. Tied at 70, 4 minutes up on the clock.
A real important player in this game. Has not scored a ton, but he has a double-double working. Is Patrick Patterson, who has 10 points, 11 rebounds, but he's had 5 block shots, most of them here in the second half, and that really took St. Patrick's out of their comfort zone.
The tap. Strickland finds the loose ball. Fisher had the hot hand all night for St. Pat's. And now here's some patience being shown by St. Pat's with the ball. You wonder why they didn't have this same patience shown in the closing moments. Inside, Robinson rejected again by Patterson. Another chance by Strickland, and he couldn't convert. Taylor in transition for Huntington. Mayo down the lane. A floater won't go. On a run out, Fisher. Tough catch. And he converts in the open floor.
Late in the game, everybody's tired, it's physical. It's a great idea to try to hit before Patrick Patterson gets back and owns the paint.
Patterson has a double-double, 10 points, 11 rebounds. Mayo for 3, are you kidding me? He's going to USC next year, but that would have been a 3 if he was playing for the Lakers. And Huntington has the lead. Fisher, nice feed on the baseline for the throwdown by Jeff Robinson. What a play by Corey Fisher as the two seniors combine on a beauty for St. Pat's, and the Celtics have the lead back.
And O.J. Mayo, his left leg is injured. He's holding it. Might be, looks like on the side of his leg, and so let's see if that affects him at all.
Approaching the midway point of overtime. Mayo for 3 again. Unbelievable. 47 points for O.J. Mayo.
Okay, the leg is okay. This is insane shooting. Even the shot that went off the backboard did not hit rim. He has not hit rim on any of his makes here in the second half.
Fisher double team. Here's the sophomore Dexter Strickland. Now Robinson, a tough catch on the baseline. Controls it. Another tough catch. Thomas lost it. Deflected out of bounds off Williams. It will stay with St. Pat's.
Now, O.J. Mayo has 47 points. And remember, this is a high school game. It's only 32 minutes long plus overtime. What a performance.
He's taken 32 shots. No other player for Huntington has taken more than 8. Scored their last 13 in a row, and answering the bell again is Corey Fisher. He has 37 points, and he is the second high scorer in the game. Tied at 76 in overtime with 1:20 to go.
Well, I don't care what you do. Get the ball to Mayo. He's got carte blanche to do whatever he wants. This is his shot, and he will not pass it up.
Again, there is no shot clock. So if Mayo wanted to hold for 1, Huntington could. They could take the final shot in overtime. Let's see how early in the clock they decide to put it up. Mayo dribbling down time, inside of 1 minute to go.
I would send a defender and get the ball out of his hands.
Well, Kevin Boyle was waving to his players to come out and pressure the ball. I think right now Lloyd McGuffin has his team doing exactly that. Can they maintain possession for the last 45 seconds here and hold for 1? No. A bad decision by Taylor, threw it in traffic. Fisher off to Robinson. The lead to St. Pat's with 33 seconds to go in overtime.
I'm sorry. Why did O.J. give up the ball? He's the playmaker. He's the All-American. He has got to make that play.
Mayo for the tie. The goal goes, but they wave off the basket, saying he was fouled on the floor. The foul will go against Robinson. That's his 4th. And that will put Mayo 1 foul away from shooting 1-1. That was the last foul to give for St. Pat's. 21.6 seconds to go. And Huntington will have the basketball down 2. And they will call their lone timeout here in overtime. So now both teams with 16 fouls.
The number one advantage of playing fast basketball is trying to get down there and get those easy points. Huntington has expended a ton of energy. Both of these half-court defenses are so good. Try to hit before they get going, and here's that last call. It was early. OJ Mayo, very much a touch call. OJ stands for Ovinton J. Mayo, the second high-profile OJ to go to USC, and he scored their last 13 points. You think Tim Floyd is salivating watching this game right now, trying to imagine what he could do? And he's in a little pain right now. They're rubbing on his leg.
The last player to come out of the huddle with a little bit of a limp. So O.J. Mayo and Huntington trailing by 2. 21.6 seconds remaining in overtime. They try to get Patterson backdoor. Instead, catching it in traffic is Taylor. Patterson saves it early for 3. No good. The weak side rebound to Taylor. 14 seconds to go. Another 3 put up. This one by Williams. No good. Patterson the loose ball. Trying one is Mayo. No good. And finally, the rebound off to Corey Fisher. Wide open is Strickland. And that'll do it. In overtime, St. Pat survives. The number 1 team in the country taken to the limit by Huntington. And the Highlanders, in front of their hometown fans, had 3 great looks at the basket in the closing moments and couldn't get one to go down, including a final look from O.J. Mayo. So Mayo finishes with 47 points and a loss.
The marquee matchup lived up to its billing. St. Patrick's is the number 1 team in the nation, and they showed why. They play both ends of the court, extremely fundamental. They share the ball, star quality, well coached. Both of these teams were tremendous, but let's take a look. Early shot, it wasn't OJ. Next shot, wasn't OJ. You've got to get the ball earlier to your stars. Good box out, but once again, keeping it alive. And here's the one that they wanted. Remember, O.J. Mayo had the sore leg, and you wonder if that maybe affected him on that last release.
You also wonder if all of those closing shots needed to be threes.
I don't think so. Something to the rim. You're in the bonus. Take it aggressively and try to get to the rim.
Your overall thought, though, about the performance tonight, not only of O.J. Mayo, but also of Corey Fisher. Jeff Robinson finishes with 23. We saw some of the premier high school talent in the country tonight in the Old Spice High School Showcase. That's just what this game is about.
2 things. I saw fundamentals, extreme athleticism, and very well coached.
So the final in overtime, St. Patrick's of New Jersey, the top team in the country, comes to Huntington, and they win it by 2 in overtime. For Tim McCormick and our entire crew, I'm Bob Wischusen, saying so long from Huntington. For more on our game, check out ESPN News. Back to Dari Noka in the studio.
All right, guys.